It is the 26th of July 2023. Good morning and welcome to the Mid Morning Show. I'm your host, Mary Oswero.
And hi, I'm Regina Ayanai.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You can follow us on our social media handles. We are live on YouTube at Afarmers Media, on Facebook at Afarmers Media, on Twitter at Afarmers with the Z _ media, and on our website www.afarmersmedia.com. Ensure you tag along with us so that you get to learn about our interesting topic of the day. But before we get to the topic, let us look at the weather today.
And thank you so much for joining and welcome to the one and only show that takes us into the deep understanding of what is fueling our farms. Welcome to Mid Morning Show. Anyway, we are going to the weather updates. Today in general, the weather is most cloudy with a 19 degrees Celsius temperature with a low chance of precipitation tonight. And then we are going to mention several counties or areas where the temperature are affecting. So in Coast, it is 27 degrees Celsius. It is partly cloudy. In Nairobi, it is 18 degrees Celsius, and it's also most cloudy. In Kajiado, where we are right now, it is 19 degrees Celsius. In Samburu, it is 21 degrees Celsius, which is mostly cloudy. And in Kisumu, it is 25 degrees Celsius, which is most cloudy.
Kisumu is most cloudy,
Yeah.
according to research.
Funny, huh?
But I want to know what's happening on the ground.
Because we know Kisumu is a hot
It's
area.
a hot area, by the way.
Yeah.
If you come from Kisumu, you can tell us on the comment section how
Tell
Kisumu
us.
is. Tuambie wewe uko kwa ground. Tell us how Kisumu is. And also Samburu. I was telling Ayan, Samburu is a hot area. I'm
Yes,
wondering how it's
a
partly
hot
cloudy.
area. Yeah, it's a hot area.
How comes it's cloudy?
I won't understand about that, but of course the weather changes in each and every county, and Samburu is one of them. It might be hot, but the weather also changes. We also experience rain. Don't just assume that we don't experience rainfall.
People from Samburu, it's like rain comes only during Christmas holidays.
Not really. I'm a testimony here. I'm from Samburu, so let me tell you, the rain comes in different months in Samburu County. We experience rain in August, in December, in March. Like the rain ranges across the year.
It's like those rains just wait for students to close school.
Yes. And the holidays. I know it is always irritating because every time it rains in Samburu, especially in Christmas holidays, I always like, why is it raining? Why is the rain doing this? Because you can't even go outside. You can't celebrate your Christmas very well because the rains. Where?
Can the rains in Samburu be too much to an extent that there are muddy roads?
Yes. But mostly you can't find muddy roads in Samburu. You know, it's a semi-arid area, and we experience drought most of the times. So the mud is not that much in Samburu. Yeah.
Okay, in Kisumu, I only see that when there are rains in Kisumu, actually there are some parts of Kisumu like Kano. There's a place called Kano. When it rains,
Kano. I know Kano. I know. I've heard of
when it rains, even the rains can sweep your houses, can take away your children. Yeah. So when it's a rainy season in Kisumu, you have to be very, very careful with your family, especially when you have a mud-touched house.
I always remember back in primary school, we were talking about clouds. You know, when we were in class 1, 2, 3, and the exams was being brought, and we are talking about the weather, the clouds, the Nimbus cloud. It was Nimbus or what?
You're even remembering Nimbus. I don't even remember.
Yeah, there were
I remember Cumulus only.
Yeah, there were cumulus, and we used to make a lot of formulas because you can't capture this. You know, we didn't like understand these clouds. we crammed them.
Oh yeah, I also cram them. That's why I don't even understand them up to today.
Right now, you can show me any cloud and tell me what type of a cloud is this, and I would be like, wow, I don't know. The only cloud that I know is the dark clouds that bring rains.
You
Which
just
I'm not
know
even
them as
sure.
the dark clouds, but you don't know the
Yeah,
exact
I'm not even
name.
sure.
Tell us in the comment section what do we call the dark clouds?
Yes.
Because she can remember the nimbus, I can remember the cumulus, but we don't remember the name
And
of the dark clouds.
and the shapes of the cloud. You know, you used to talk about the shapes of
They
the cloud.
have shapes.
Yeah, they have shapes. Others
Hey.
are shaped like mountains. I don't know. Others are shaped like what?
My social media teacher, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I used.
I wasn't concentrating.
Anyway, the clouds sometimes form different shapes and different patterns. I've also realized sometimes they form something like a human being. I know.
Yeah.
Something like an animal. And I was so scared and said, maybe God is sending someone.
Actually, when I see such a structure, when I look at the clouds and I see an animal or even a human being, sometimes you can even see a well-dressed when you're a Catholic, you know how sisters dress.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
nuns dress.
Okay.
Then sometimes you can even see a structure of a nun. And I don't know why when I look at those things, I feel like God is there.
Let me tell
and
you.
He's watching.
You structure those things in your mind. You see what your mind tells you that cloud looks like this, and then your mind will register, yes, it looks like this. But when you call someone and tell them, can you tell me how does that cloud look? Of course, that person can give you a different opinion or can give you the same opinions.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the clouds form that specific thing.
Actually, I've had a friend. I was looking at the clothes and I'm telling her, can you see a lion? Actually, what can you see? I was asking her what can she see, and she was telling me a leopard. She was seeing a different thing from what I was seeing, and then I asked her, you can see a lion? And then again, she looked at it and she was like, I can see a lion. So you're right. It's something that you're just forming in your mind.
Yeah. That's why I was asking. Yesterday, I was talking with my friend at home, and I was telling him about the climate changes, and he was like, no, the climate doesn't change. Climate don't change. It's the weather that changes. And I was like, tell me the difference between that, because I don't understand. I think the climate is just weather. And he was like, no, the weather are the ones that are changing, not the climate.
Okay, our main topic of the day is crop rotation and soil health. If you have any questions about crop rotations and soil health, we are still live on YouTube at A Farmers Media, on Facebook at A Farmers Media. But before we dive into the topic, first of all, Ayan, we have new innovations. I guess you'd like to talk more about some of them.
Okay, one of the innovations that I would like to talk about is the one called IoT in agriculture. This is where they use sensors to monitor their crops in their farms. So these sensors track soil moisture and also health, the livestock health, etc., and many other things. So these sensors are able to track these. You know, when you identify such thing using that IoT, you are able to know where the nutrients are required, where the soil moisture is needed to be improved. Yeah, you see? Yeah, there is this IoT that was invented, and also it determines the right amount of water for crops to grow and become healthy.
Is it in Africa?
I don't really know if it is in Africa. Yes, research. Yeah, it's in Africa, of course. It is from Africa.
Oh.
Yeah, it was invented by Africans. It's a sensor. So it will be able to monitor the amount of water that is in their soil. You see? So and then you will be able to identify if this plant needs water or if this plant does not need water, or does it have enough water, or does it need water.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think our farmers need to know more about it.
Yes, as farmers, you should be more conversant with things like technology. Be ready to learn. Be ready to implement these emerging trends that are helping you improve your farms, improve your crops, and improve your livestock. So be conversant with these things. It's not that you should be conversant like perfect.
Yeah.
Just try to engage in these technology activities. No, learn. Try to learn. Research on these technological activities so that you'll be able to learn.
And if you're a farmer who has a neighbor who is also a farmer and doesn't know about this technology stuff, that's why you are there to help. When we inform you about these new innovations, you get to also help others. So
Yeah.
that's why our Farmers Media is here.
Mhm.
We connect, we learn, and we grow. So the moment we inform you about a new innovation and you might be interested, and you know other farmers who maybe didn't get to hear it from us, you can educate them on the new innovation.
And
I
you are
also
going
got
to go
a new one. I also got a new one. There's an innovation of a laser scarecrow. I know
Laser scarecrow.
It's a laser scarecrow.
Okay.
So I hope I'm mentioning it the right way.
Yes.
Laser
Scarecrow.
It was invented by a researcher from the University of Rhodes. He designed the laser scarecrow mostly for the birds.
Oh, to scare away the birds.
Scare away the birds.
Okay.
I got to learn that the birds are attracted to the green objects, the green plants. So the laser scarecrow has a green light.
Wow,
Yeah.
a green light.
Yes, it has a green light. But when you get close, actually it can get up to 600 feet. When you have a big shamba, it can get to up to 600 feet, and it's used to scare birds. Yeah.
Like, how does it work?
When you just place it in your farm, I think the light can splash up to 600 feet. Yeah. So the moment the birds see the flashing of the light, they get scared away.
Yes. Oh,
so
okay.
that way your crops are safe with the laser scarecrow. It's a very I have a feeling that it's a very beautiful scarecrow.
Yeah, I also think that it is something good because in the areas like ours, we make dolls to scare away the crows.
Actually, those ones are not even dolls.
Ours is like it's not even dolls. You just put a stick in the middle of your shamba, and then you put it like a cross, and then you make it put on a shirt, and then you leave it like that. So when the birds see that kind of a thing, they run away. They tend to get scared.
I don't know if my viewer, if you've ever watched a Nigerian movie, there are those scary stuff in the Nigerian movies that they always use to scare away children. I don't know how they call them. I've just forgotten the name because I'm a very big fan of Nigerian movies. I've just forgotten the name of those objects. They look like scarecrow, but they are what? There are some shambas in this country that you look at the scarecrow and even you as a human being you'll get scared.
Yes.
Because they look extremely terrible.
Like a human, yeah. You know, you have to scare away things like thieves from your shamba, the birds, any animal that may affect your crops. So you have to be creative enough to implement something that will do good to your farm.
I don't know if there's apart from the laser scarecrow, I don't know if there's anyone who has invented a scarecrow that has an electric shock. That when you get close to it, if nobody has done that, I think I should do it.
And you know, like an area like Samburu, it is prone to this cattle rustling between two tribes. There is always a lot of fights in Samburu County. People are fighting over cattle. So for us, my mom used to leave me alone at home. Like when my mom and my dad traveled, we were left with my sister. And at night, we had someone creeping towards our goat's house. So we decided that we should, the next day, we decided that we should put a scarecrow in front of the gate of the goats. So we just found 2 sticks, and then we made it wear clothes, a trouser, a shirt, and then placed a ball on the head. Yeah, like a head. So at night when you look at it, you get scared. So I got out in the middle of the night, and then I was going out, and then I saw it, and then I screamed, and I was the one who placed it there.
You're getting scared by your own scarecrow.
Yeah, so scarecrows can scare people away. It can scare humans, can scare birds. So sometimes it is a good invention though. Yeah.
And if you're a farmer, the scarecrow that I was talking about that has an electric shock. If you have a big farm and maybe you're farming in an area where there are a lot of thieves, I think that one can be the best. Apart from these laser scarecrow, the one that has an electric shock can be the best, as long as you just put a disclaimer on the fence of your shamba that there's an electric fence or there's an electric scarecrow.
Yes.
I think it will.
But
really
but
help.
sometimes we don't have to, like in areas like ours, we don't want to
And-
make people know that there is something like
Oh.
that in your farm, because if they know, they won't be scared anymore because they already know what is inside there.
But it's right.
So you just put it there. If the thief comes, that is his problem to
But
get
when you're
scared.
using an electric stuff, you have to inform people. It's a disclaimer because the moment the thief gets an electric shock.
No, I was talking about the electric scarecrow. Yeah, not the fence.
Okay.
Of course, the fence, you have to notify people that this is an electric fence. Like maybe kids can try climbing on your fence. They know nothing about electricity.
I don't know if you have any other.
Oh, there is this
Innovation.
geographic information system, GIS. This is the use of satellites, drones, and also which monitors the movement of the animals. So you can, through these, the drones, the satellites, etc., you can be able to see the movement of your animals, the way they move, the way they feed, the way they respond to different activities, and the way they also feed. Yeah. And then it also helps farmers and to track animals' health and nutrition, fertility or nutrition. So you'll be able to know that you will see that these animals needs attention. It is sick through the use of drone. So when the drone is up there, you'll be able to monitor your animals. You can see that this animal is sick. Let me take to the veterinary. You can see that they require certain kind of nutrition. They are behaving in a certain way that is not good. So through that, you'll be able to monitor your animal health and make sure that your animals are healthy and they are eating the right quantities of food and nutrition.
I think that one can really help
Mhm.
livestock farmers.
Yes,
That's
it helps.
That's a very good innovation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have the last one. I don't know. Okay, the last one from my side.
Mm-hmm.
It's a software. This software mostly will help our farmer. We have a farmer in studio.
Mm-hmm.
We have a certain farmer who planted strawberries some time back. I think if you are watching, our dear CEO, this is the best way that you'll use next time. This one will help you next time when you have strawberries in your farm. It's called the farm management software. It's an integrated platform that provides real-time data and information like a digital checklist to assist farmers with tracking daily activities. So when you have that software, you can track your daily activities. It helps farmers improve decision making throughout all operations.
Wow.
I'll just take an example of our CEO was telling us about the strawberries he planted. If you have this software, it can help you know what's happening in your farm. Yeah, it will help you so that people will not be eating your strawberries in the farm and then you're just
that is a good thing to curb theft.
you find people eating your strawberries in your farm.
Yeah, you can
They
find
have
also
great
workers. You know, most of the workers, you're just being tempted. Of course, they'll be tempted. If I say that this strawberry looks so good, it is juicy. Let me try it. And you know, when first, if you eat something and you feel that this thing is very sweet, of course you will want to eat another and another and another, and you will end up making loss for that farmer,
So
for
this
your
software
employer.
is by the way, it's so important for the farmers to have the farm management software. That is the best software that can help you monitor all the activities, and it will also give you all the information that is happening in your farm. We're still live on YouTube at A Farmers Media, live on Facebook at A Farmers Media, on Twitter at A Farmers with a Z _media, and on our website www.afarmersmedia.com. We'll dive into our topic.
First of all, before you dive into our topics, don't forget to comment, follow, and like. Anyway, there is one more innovation.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, that is vertical farming. So vertical farming is another innovation whereby the farmers are able to apply to artificially apply water to plants through hydroponics, aquaponics, aeroponics. So the plants are able to, like, you don't have to disturb yourself. You don't have to be so stressed out in applying each and every plant water, because you can use this vertical farming. You just apply water once and then it's like that. This vertical farming, and then the plants will be able to absorb water slowly. This also saves water, and a lot of people have problems with water. There is shortage of water. So through this vertical farming, you'll be able to save a lot of water for your other uses. Yeah. Now let's dive to our main topic.
Actually, the innovation that you just talked about last, it will help farmers with large acres of land. I think if you are planting so much, or you have a big farm, that one is the best way. That one, you'll use that one will easily help you, especially when you're watering your farm. You don't have to struggle or even so many people. You'll end up spending a lot of money, and there's a shortcut that you can use.
Yeah, a shortcut that is good, that is useful, that is profitable, and that will minimize your time. Time is a valuable thing. Time is something that you should be careful about. You can see that I have a lot of time, but in reality, the more you see that you have a lot of time, the more time you are wasting.
Actually, they say time is money.
Yeah, time is like
so
money.
You handle time the way you handle money.
Handle it with care. Your time is so precious.
Usifike meeting late and then unasema nimefika masaa za Mwafrika.
Ati nimefika masaa za Mwafrika. Just because there is that saying that eti kuna masaa ya Mwafrika, ati you can tell the African kuja saa moja kazi, and then you can't expect her or him to come at that time. Anafika saa 4 ama saa 2. That is just an African saying, but it is not the correct thing to do. Arrive on time, be always on time, because time is a precious thing.
Okay. That's our main topic of the day, crop rotation and soil health. This is a very interesting topic, Diane.
Yeah, very interesting indeed.
Actually, it took us time to identify it.
Yeah.
Because it's a very it's an educative topic. I have a feeling that by the end of our today's show, you'll get to learn so much from us. You'll ask questions. The ones that we can answer, we will. The ones that we will not be able to answer, we'll bring an expert the next time we're having our show, so that we get to learn more. We are also learning, and you can also educate us on the comment section. You can ask questions. We'll respond to all of them.
Yeah, tell us any burning questions you have. Comment on anything you see. Like, be ready. We are ready to answer each and every question that you have. If we don't understand that question, of course, we will find a way to explain to you even more better.
Yeah, and an expert will always be here next time to help us. So, crop rotation and soil health. What comes into your mind?
Okay, what comes into my mind in crop rotation and soil health? Of course, when I hear soil, I just already think about soil, and then rotation. I see rotating.
Rotation of crops.
Rotation of crops. I see rotating. Like when soil rotation comes to my mind, I see the soil itself rotating without knowing what is this soil rotation. Yeah.
Okay. Let me first define crop rotation. According to how I know, it's like growing different types of crops in one area in sequential seasons.
Yeah. Sorry guys, we are talking about crop rotation, not soil rotation.
Crop rotation.
Anyway, when I hear about crop rotation, of course it is rotating of crops. How do we rotate these crops? Why do we rotate these crops? We'll be able to learn each and everything that we need to learn about crop rotation. And
we'll also tell you about the benefits of soil rotation, of crop rotation, and soil health, and the results. They are beautiful results, by the way.
Yeah, and how it improves the soil health.
Yeah. Please take us through the ones.
Okay, first of all, we are going to define crop rotation. Crop rotation is growing of different crops in one area in sequential seasons. Like, for example, you have a piece of land, and then you have peas, you have beans, and you have maybe other crops. That is like you grow it in one farm, but in another year you rotate the crops. Where the peas were, you grow the beans where the beans were, or you grow the corn or the wheat. Yes. So that is crop rotation. So we are going to talk about how does crop rotation improve soil health. Crop rotation improves soil health in different ways. And one of the ways is nutrient balancing. What do you understand by nutrients balancing? So different crops require different nutrients levels to grow. There are other crops that require a lot of nutrients. There are other crops that don't require a lot of nutrients. Example of one crop that requires a lot of nutrients to grow is wheat and corn. These, they require a lot of nutrients. So when growing crops, you grow fast. First of all, legumes are the most preferable crops to grow on land before growing wheat or maize. So the legumes are rich in nitrogen. They are rich in nitrogen. So when you grow the legumes there and then you rotate the crops, maybe you are growing peas and you are growing legumes in one part of the field, and then the other part of the field you grow wheat and corn. So the next time you rotate the crops, you take the wheat and the corn. You take the wheat and the corn, you put in place of legumes, and then you take the legumes and put it in place of legumes. So through that, the wheat and corn consume a lot of nitrogen. They are draining a lot of nutrients and nitrogen in the soil. So the legumes leave nitrogen in the soil, and the wheat and corn absorb that nitrogen, hence improving the nutrients of the soil. So it improves the nutrients of the soil. That is one advantage of crop rotation. You can take us to another advantage.
Before I take you to another advantage, then having nutrients in the soil is very, very important. I think that's why we encourage crop rotation. Yeah, the moment you're planting different types of crops in different seasons, actually you're really helping your soil. And the moment your soil has nutrients, definitely you'll get good results. You'll be harvesting so much.
Yeah, and legumes also can also fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere into the soil. So that's why I was telling you, legumes can take this nitrogen from the atmosphere into the soil. So when they put it into the soil, and the next time you put your corn or wheat in that area, they absorb that nitrogen and then make it like use it, and then develop and grow healthy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think another one is also pest and diseases control. When you talk about pests, I believe you know the pests that we have in the shambas, those wadudus.
Yes, we have different kinds of pests in gardens.
Yeah, so some of them are disgusting, but anyway,
we have caterpillars. They are beautiful, but no,
caterpillars are not beautiful. How can you say caterpillars?
I love caterpillars. The way they are walking, it is so good. I don't know. I love watching caterpillars.
I hate animals that live that way.
I used to watch caterpillars on the trees that my mom used to grow in the farms. We have trees in our farm. So we practice agroforestry, by the way. That is growing of crops, trees, and keeping of livestock in one place. That is agroforestry. So the caterpillars are walking in the leaves of the trees. But if it happens to drop and get into your clothes, then that is the end of you.
It has never dropped in your clothes because
you will eat. Yeah, you will eat and eat until you cry.
Now, the day that caterpillar will drop on your skin, you will never love caterpillars the way you're telling me.
And yesterday we were talking about aphids. Aphids are also found in farms. That's also a pest.
Now, crop rotation, when you talk about pests and diseases, crop rotation can help reduce the level of pests and diseases that can emerge when crops are planted year after year. What I mean by this is that when there are pests and diseases in your farm and you're practicing crop rotation, definitely when this season you plant maize, and then the pests and the diseases adapt to the environment, adapt to that soil that you planted maize on. Then the next time, the next season, you plant something like fruits. Do I say fruits, oranges or something on the same on the same soil, definitely the pests and the diseases had already adapted to the maize. And now you have changed.
Yes. So if you
It will
change, you break
reduce.
their cycle.
Yes, you break their cycle.
Their
so they
breeding
will
cycle.
reduce.
Yeah. You know, when something is used to staying in one place, it uses it as its habitat. So it dominates that place, makes more, it reproduces more. You see, when it reproduces, I don't know, reproduction is for women.
No, it's okay.
Is for human or what? Yeah, reproduction. You'll understand what I'm saying. Anyway, if it reproduces more, they are used to that habitat in a way that they are comfortable enough to continue spreading those pests and diseases. So the moment you rotate these crops, those diseases are not adapted to this type of crops. So they are going to die. They are likely to die. So it reduces those pests.
Let me break it down with an example of our day-to-day life so that you get to understand it better. If at all these agricultural terms are not coming out well. When you're living in a house where there are cockroaches, and each and every day you're always bringing bread, sugar, you're always bringing food, the same types of foods. You're feeding the cockroaches every day. One day at least try and bring something different. Maybe they will run away. You scare them with you scare them maybe with what can you use to scare them? Fruits. You scare them with fruits and you avoid bringing things like bread, mandazis. Definitely, if they're not used to taking those fruits,
they are going to disappear in one instant.
They'll visit your neighbors.
Yeah.
They'll leave your house.
Yeah.
That's the same way pests and diseases work when you're doing crop rotation, when you're practicing crop rotation. The moment now you remove maize, and then the next time now you bring oranges, or the next time you bring beans. You have brought a different thing, something that they're not used to, so they don't know how they'll survive in that type of environment. That one will make them, some of them will run away, maybe to your neighbor's shamba.
Others will die.
Others will die and they'll not reproduce, just like Ayan was telling us.
Yes. So another, it was importance, right? Yeah. Another importance is they control soil erosion. You know, soil erosion control. So when you plant cover crops such as grass in your field, you are going when you maybe you are done planting maize in this piece of land. After planting maize, let me plant grass here, and then so that the soil will be able to improve its fertility. So by planting that grass, they are deep rooted, so they are keeping the soil firm. Through keeping the soil firm, they are preventing it from soil erosion and also being carried away by the wind and water. You see? So it improves the soil. It improves the soil. So, and also it holds the soil in place with their roots.
Actually, when you're planting grass, you also have to know the type of grass you're planting.
Yes.
I just got to learn that there are different types of grass. Is it
Can you tell us?
Actually, I don't know the types, but I know how they look like. They are hard ones. I don't know if I should say
like
hard
Napier
ones.
grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're planting, Napier grass also applies to the cover crops.
Yeah.
So when you planted maize, let me not say maize this time because maize and Napier grass kind of in a Caribbeana. When you planted beans and then you've harvested the beans, and then the next time you put the Napier grass on that place, definitely it will really help a lot. Even apart from Napier grass, there's this grass that they're so hard, and I'll look for the name, or if you know the name, tell us in the comment section. They're so hard, but they're green and beautiful. Most of them are planted in hotels.
Yeah,
and in big hotels, so that the environment can look beautiful. If you have that type of grass, it also acts as a cover crop, and it helps a lot to prevent soil erosion.
Yeah, and also when you plant the nitrogen, nitrogen demanding plants like wheat and corn, it can be depleted over time. The nitrogen will be depleted over time. So to avoid this, you have to practice crop rotation. So crop rotation can reduce soil erosion.
Yeah. That one is I have a feeling that is a very I've learned a lot from that point. I hope you've also learned a lot from that point. I didn't know that cover crops can help prevent soil erosion.
Yeah, they do. There's something called monoculture, and this is planting of the same crops every year. Like you plant the same crops every year. You see, these can reduce the soil fertility and also can make the pests spread. So that is not good to practice. Monoculture is not a practice that should be encouraged because your plants will be affected in one way or another, and also your soil will lose its fertility and nutrients. So you should practice soil crop rotation.
I think the government should take an initiative of teaching or training farmers on these crop rotation stuff, especially when it comes to that point of monoculture, because you realize that some farmers, a bigger percentage of farmers, when it's a season, I can't say it's a season, but because a bigger percentage of farmers, they just plant maize. When they have maize, they believe that this farm is always for maize. I've seen that so many times in my area. You find a farmer saying that this particular piece here is for maize, this one is for beans. They're not mixing. This one is for beans. So they will always plant maize in one farm. Yeah.
Okay. So many of you are asking, like, are curious about what are legumes. I know a lot of you didn't get that question right back in primary school. You were asked to which one is not a legume. They'll put beans, what, and extra things. So legumes, example of legumes, there is peas, beans, alfalfa, clovers. So these legumes are able to take the atmospheric nitrogen. You know, they possess a bacteria called, they engage in a relationship called symbiotic relationship, whereby symbiotic relationship is a relationship between the bacteria and the crops. So these they both benefit from each other. So this bacteria called rhizobia, it lives in the root of the nodules. So these bacteria are capable of converting the atmospheric nitrogen which plants use and into the farm nitrogen. You see, so when they convert this atmospheric nitrogen into the farm nitrogen, they are going to give plants a way to directly use them, hence improving the plants and also the soil in general. Yeah.
Can you break it down for us? You've just used so much agricultural terms. I feel at some point I feel lost.
Okay, you know, nitrogen. There is a nitrogen. There is atmospheric nitrogen, and the only way to bring this nitrogen from the atmosphere is using plants like legumes, such as beans, peas. So when you use this kind of plant, they are capable of capturing that nitrogen from the atmosphere. When they consume that nitrogen from the atmosphere, they are able to transport it to the soil. So in the soil, the legumes have nodules. There are some particles inside the soil. They are roots. So these roots are able to consume these. They are rich in this nitrogen. So the bacteria present in the soil eat these nodules and consume. The bacteria are called rhizoids. These bacteria produce ammonia. So ammonia, they produce nitrogen, which is this nitrogen. Like these, they are called what? These bacteria can use these bacteria produce ammonia, which is good for the plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before Ayan continued, I was talking about pests. I was talking about pest and disease control. Under the pest and disease control, I have different points that I'd like to bring out. I hope you'll get to learn from the points that I'll be talking about. First of all, is the specificity of pests and diseases. When I talk about specificity, what I mean is that many pests and diseases are host specific, meaning they only attack certain crops. Not all pests, like you can't say that all pests attack maize. There are pests that only attack maize. You can find that they're attacking maize and they're not attacking beans. Or you can find that they're attacking beans and maybe they are not attacking fruits. Now, the moment they're not attacking all these, the moment the pest and diseases are in a certain farm or are in a certain shamba, and those pests are not the ones that are supposed to attack, or they mostly don't attack beans, and you plant beans, it will really be of big help.
Yes.
Because the beans are there. They can't attack the beans. Now your beans will just be growing. Your beans will be healthy. And then maybe they'll leave your farm because you've not given them the right crops.
Yeah, and that will be profitable for you as a farmer because you won't be able to have those expenses cost, such as buying medicines to get rid of these pests, you see. And again, these medicines you use to kill the pests in the farm, sometimes they can also affect crops, affect the soil, the fertility of the soil. So through that, you'll be able to save your soil from being infertile. Yes.
Another one is, actually, before I move to the next point, that one is an advantage to the farmer, especially now when you're wise enough as a farmer to know that these pests are always in this farm. And I don't want my crops to be attacked. And you know very well the ones that are here, they can't attack maize. They just plant your maize there and relax and wait for the pest to die or even run away to the next shamba. And to my next point, also on the pests and diseases, you can talk about creating unfavorable conditions. This is what I mean. Different crops can create different soil conditions, and this can affect the survival of pests and diseases. For example, some pests may prefer moist conditions and created by a dense canopy of leaves. If a crop with a more open canopy is grown instead, the soil may dry out more quickly. I don't know if you understand that well.
Can you explain more?
Okay. Sorry. Some pests, they can prefer moist conditions. Like, for example, like from where a yarn is coming from, and it's coming from a semi-arid area.
Yes, Mary.
There are pests that can survive in the semi-arid area. They will prefer the moist area.
Yes.
So the moment you've identified the kind of pest that can survive in your area, it is easier to plant your crops.
Yes.
Yeah, because just referring to my first point, there are pests that can survive in a moist area. So if you have if you are from a semi-arid area, planting your crops will be so easy for you, since those pests that you feel will attack your crops when they're in a moist area, they won't attack when they're in a semi-arid area.
Yes. And another thing that I forgot to talk about the legumes, there is something interesting about the legumes. You know, when the legumes die, they decompose. They go through the process of decomposition, and after decomposition, they release the nitrogen back into the soil, which are used by the subsequent plants, such as corn and wheat. So that is a good thing about the legumes.
You'll expound more on that when you get to organic matter, because I have a point of organic matter hapo mbele. Yeah, we are still live on YouTube. You can still follow us at Farmers Media on Facebook, at Farmers Media on Twitter, at Farmers with the Z_media, and on our website www.afarmersmedia.com. This is the Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow.
We're still dwelling on the soil and soil health and crop rotation, and we have said that soil also improves the soil crop rotation. Sorry guys, it is so confusing.
The crop rotation is so confusing with the soil health.
Yeah, I keep saying soil rotation, and I was like, what is soil rotation?
Do you think soil can be rotated?
I don't think so. Soil is you can't rotate soil, but you can maybe uchimbe and then you take it to another.
Actually,
that is not also.
There was a time I was asking if we can take soil from one place, then go mix it with another soil from maybe an unfertile soil.
Yeah,
then we go mix it. Can it work?
Yeah, I think I don't know.
Sure?
I just know that there is certain types of soil that you can move and put in your toilet.
Achana na toilet. I'm talking about soil. You're moving an unfertile soil from one place, and then you're taking it to a different place that is fertile. Then you mix, and then you plant your crops.
Yeah, let that be a question for today, guys. Can you answer us? Can you mix? Can you take fertile soil and take it to unfertile soil and then mix it? Is it possible?
You can tell us in the comment section so that we get to learn also from you.
Yeah, but crop rotation maintains fertility, like nutrients balance in the soil. It will enable you to make sure that your crops are getting enough nutrients and they are growing healthy without a lot of problems.
Let me look at your comments. I can see on the comment section we are having Noah telling us we are now adopting IoT in our farms. Actually, the innovation that you talked about, he's saying that they are now adopting IoT in their farms. That is
very good thing, Noah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Maybe we can invite you someday and come to talk with us about this IoT.
Noah is an expert, by the way.
Yes, and we know that we want you to tell us more about this IoT because a lot of people outside there are not understanding what is this IoT. So one of these days we are going to invite you here and you talk to us, tell everybody else, make them understand. The farmers outside there will want to understand more about this IoT innovation.
And you can also educate us on soil health.
Yes.
Next time utubip mapema tujue tunakuingiza kwa show saa ngapi. Desert Mamba Productions is also commenting. I don't know if this is an individual or it's a group. They're telling us weather changes after a period of 35 years while weather can change. Oh, I think he's talking about climate.
Wow, yeah. Weather changes after a period of 35 years while weather can change anytime, any day. Wow, thank you so much. I never knew that. I was so confused about weather and climate. Now at least I know what I'm talking about. I know there are also other people outside there who will want to know what is this weather and what is this weather and climate. Let me repeat again.
Climate changes.
Weather changes after a period of 35 years while weather can change anytime.
I think the first one he meant climate.
Yes, I think it's climate. Climate changes after a period of 35 years while weather can change anytime, any day.
Thank you so much, Desert Mamba. Actually, that's why we are here for you and you're also here for us because you're educating us. We didn't know about climate changing after a period of 35 years, but now we know.
Yeah. Continue sending your comments, guys. Continue asking us questions. Continue sending also your questions. We're able to answer.
Our main topic is still crop rotation and soil health. We're going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more.
See you.
The heart of any shamba lies in its soil. Because soil is so precious, it needs to be managed really carefully. A good place to start is with a soil test. This will tell you how healthy your soil is, its pH levels, what type of soil it is, which crops you can grow in your soil, and advice on which fertilizer is best to use. If you follow the soil test recommendations, it can boost your yields. So, how do you take a soil test sample? Firstly, dig up soil samples. Use a soil auger or panga to take a sample 1 feet deep in a zigzag pattern across your shamba. You will need at least 10 samples. Mix all the different samples together in a bucket. The soil is now ready to be scanned and tested. You can find out about how to get your soil tested by contacting your extension officer. Alternatively, contact a Ministry of Agriculture research station near you. A soil test costs about as much as 1 bag of maize. You should do a soil test at least every 3 to 5 years.
For tuning in at Farmers Media. We are back. Our main topic of the day was crop rotation and soil health. You can still follow us on our social media handles at Farmers Media on YouTube, at Farmers Media on Facebook, on our website www.afarmersmedia.com.
And don't forget to follow us, like and comment, ask questions and be able to answer.
Before we went for a break, we are talking about crop rotation and the soil health, their benefits, their advantages, and their results. And Ayan had just given us a glimpse of organic matter, how organic matter relates to crop rotation, helps in crop rotation, and soil health. First of all, what do you understand by the term organic matter?
Okay, organic matter. Okay, organic matter.
Like the waste materials that you get from plants and animals, and then when you take them to the shamba, there was a term I was telling you about called humus. That one was a difficult term. Now when you take the organic components to the shamba and then they start turning dark or black, that is what we call humus. Yes,
Okay.
formed by the decomposition of leaves and other plant materials.
Okay,
That's
so
like
organic matter, yes, I understood that organic matter is the decomposition of materials. You can take different materials such as legumes that are already dead and then decompose them to make organic matter. And you know what? Organic matter is one of the factors that determine the soil health. Because without organic matter, also in some situation, your soil health will not be able to improve. You know, organic matter improve soil health by improving soil structure, moisture retention, nutrients availability. You know, the organic matter provide nutrients for the plants, which are essential for the healthy growth of the plants. Yes.
And when you talk about organic matter and how it applies with crop rotation, you can say that crop rotation increases organic material. Let me explain the point. Crop rotation definitely involves the growth of different crops in different seasons, just like we had mentioned before. And when we have the organic materials or the decomposed materials,
Okay.
these residues, decomposed residues,
Residue.
amaluo.
Okay.
There are some terms that are so difficult you will understand. They contribute to the organic matter in the soil. Like we were talking about cover crops before. Cover crops are particularly effective in this regard because they are primarily grown to improve soil health and are often left in the field to decompose and enrich the soil with organic matter. So in that way, organic matter can really help when it comes to crop rotation. Actually, crop rotation, there's a way they correlate.
Okay, wow. And also another factor is soil pH. Soil pH, this is the acidity or the alkalinity. It is alkalinity. Yeah, it is the acidity or the alkalinity of the soil. Different plants have different pH. You know, if the pH is very acidic, of course your soil health will deteriorate. Yeah, deteriorate. English terms are so hard to pronounce. Anyway, your soil health will
deteriorate.
Yeah, deteriorate. So make sure you measure your soil pH before any other thing, because you can't just plant your crops in a soil that is very acidic. All your plants will die.
You have to test your soil.
Yeah, make sure that you test them, because it is the key aspect, the key factor that determines your soil health.
Yeah, you should always test your soil. Ensure actually before you plant any crop, before you start farming, ensure that you test your soil first of all. It will help you a lot to know the kind of crops that you should grow in your shamba. The acidity of your soil, if you need to add manure, if you need fertilizer in order for your crops to grow in order for the crops to grow in your shamba. So ensure you test your soil. I think there was a show that you were having that the hashtag was test your soil. We are still insisting.
Test your soil.
Test your soil.
You know, others can assume, let me go and test the soil, and then you just pick the soil and then test. It's not like
It's not
testing the soil like food.
Testing the TESTING. You have to test
It
your
is the
soil.
same. The one is the same thing. By the way, they are acronyms or is synonyms or acronyms. The things that are sharing the same.
No,
The
actually,
same.
testing is the TEST.
Oh yes, and then testing is for
food.
TA.
TA,
Yeah,
yes. So
okay, now I understand
ensure
it.
you test your soil if you want to have a good results. If you want to have good harvest, we still repeating. Ensure you test your soil so that you know the acidity, the alkalinity,
The acidity and the alkalinity
of
of
your
the
soil,
soil.
so that you also know if you should plant the crops that you want to plant on that particular area.
Yeah,
Testing
and
your soil
there is
helps.
also another factor is biological activity.
Mhm.
You should be careful on checking on your soil regularly. You know, there is biological life inside that soil.
Mhm.
You can find bacteria, fungi, insects, and also earthworms, etc. You know, these bacteria, such as they ensure that decomposition takes place. And when this decomposition takes place, the nutrients are provided into the soil.
Mm.
Yes. So
Wow.
that is it. It is also related to organic matter. That's the decomposition of stuff, and then you put it in the soil so that the soil can be able to have nutrients, enough nutrients for your plants.
Ayan, let me ask you. If you put manure in your shamba and then you plant cover crops, will it be helpful by the time you want to plant your crops now?
Let that be another question for this session because I'm not sure about it. Like planting cover crops first and then putting manure.
No.
Yeah.
You put manure first and then you plant your cover crops. Like grass.
Okay. Can you do that? Can you put manure in that? Of course you can. Because you're making the soil fertile. When you put manure in that soil, it's fertile. Then you plant maybe fodder. That fodder, or you plant napier grass. Of course, they will grow well and tall. You can use that fodder to make another type of fertilizer. Anyway, that's a question for this session. Can we put fertilizer on the Can we put fertilizer on the soil before
Actually,
planting
manure,
cover
not
crops?
fertilizer.
Yeah, manure on the soil before planting cover crops.
And then you plant cover crops and then you leave the cover crops for quite some time. Then now when you're ready to have your crops on the farm, now you can prepare your farm. I have a feeling you will have a good harvest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because manure is like waste materials that are decomposed, so they are very fertile.
Yeah, they are organic matter. Yeah. And you know that biological activity that is happening in the soil with the presence of biological life, it improves the soil because it also ensures that there is water holding capacity. The water holding capacity is being improved. The soil will be able to retain water for so many hours without draining all of the water. So the plants will be able to take in water without drying up.
Let's talk about weeds. Weeds, how it applies to crop rotation, if it's helpful or if it's not helpful. Weeds tend to compete with crops for resources like light, water, and nutrients. Actually, I've experienced that a lot. When you have so much weeds on your farm, definitely some crops you might not have a good harvest.
Yes.
Because especially if you don't remove them, because they were competing with your crops for light, for water, and nutrients, and definitely your crops need all those.
Yeah, you will also find that the weeds are even taller than your crops because they are healthy. They are eating what your crops are eating. That is your hard work.
And
the
even
weeds are eating.
they're also eating your crops.
Yeah, and you know the weeds are also a source of spreading insects because a lot of weeds attract insects. So these insects go to the plant, are attracted by the plants, so they go eat the plants.
Yeah, weeds are always pictured as bad plants. Are they plants? Yes, they are always pictured as bad plants. And on our topic of today, we believe that weeds negatively impact crop yields. Just like Ayan was saying, that they also help your plants eat the food that your crops are supposed to eat. Now they are sharing food, and they end up growing. Actually, weeds end up growing faster than even the crops that you planted.
Yeah, and they are making your efforts all go in vain because instead of concentrating on what brought you to that farm, like your maize, your beans, you tend to find that the weeds are eating all your effort. They are draining the nutrients in the soil and also making the insects attract the plants.
Yeah. Actually, crop rotation can be a powerful tool in managing weed population. I don't know if you know about that.
Yes.
This is how it works. Disrupting weed life cycles. Some weeds might grow better under the same condition as certain crops. Like for example, when you have your crops, like for example beans, and then there are weeds like oxalis that are on the same farm with your beans, and they both grow under the same condition, definitely you will have losses.
Yeah, and there are also beneficial weeds. There are different types of weeds. There are weeds that are beneficial to the farmer. There are weeds that are not beneficial to the farmer. Like there is a weed I saw in our farm and I wanted to eliminate it. And my dad was like, no, don't remove it. It is a carnivore weed. It feeds on insects. So when the insects land on that plant, they tend to consume that plant. They eat that not plant. They eat that pest. So some weeds are also useful to the farmer. They attract insects, hence reducing the insects from your farm.
I think the only way that I feel is beneficial to me is that oxalis that I just mentioned. Have you ever tested an oxalis weed?
An oxalis weed.
Have you ever
the pink flowers?
No, not the pink one. It's actually it has 3 leaves. Like I don't know what we call that shape. It has 3 leaves.
But
it's green. It's sweet. It's somehow sweet sour. It's somehow sour. But
I know. I have never tasted that. Don't make people taste that.
No, actually, if you grew up in the village and you had such weeds in your farm, definitely you have tasted. I used to go to the shamba because of oxalis. Yeah, it's kind of sour. It's somehow sour, but it's a sweet leaf. I used to eat it and even eat the stem.
Wow, okay.
When you're a kid, you can eat everything.
I'll go try one.
You not even one. You love even 10 of them. When you're a kid, you just eat everything. I'm not encouraging you to go and eat oxalis. It was just beneficial to me. I think even right now I can eat it.
Yeah, guys, continue listening to our show. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles at Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. You can find us on YouTube at farmersmedia.com, at Facebook at farmersmedia.com. Follow us in our website at www.farmers.com. And here in the comments, we find that there is Kaka Wekesa. Hi, Kaka Wekesa. Hope you are good wherever you are. Thank you so much for continuing following us. He's saying that nice content, ladies. I usually follow your show. Thank you so much. Continue following us, and we are going to educate you. I know you'll become, by the end of the day, you'll be able to learn one of the things. If not many, you can at least learn one of the things. At least you will be living your day better than you found it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are here to educate you about crop rotation. Those farmers are used to planting maize every time. Have you ever realized that when you go to get some seeds for your farm, you realize that maybe there's a certain type of seed that it's not there. Maybe maize. There are no maize. You just know that this time round farmers have planted maize. I also encourage farmers to be unique.
Yeah.
When you realize that there's no maize, just take beans.
But sometimes
it will help in the market.
Yeah.
It's not even a matter of seasons now.
But you know what? Sometimes you can say that maybe the farmers have been planting beans. Everybody is planting beans. And then I say, let me be unique and plant maize this time. But all the farms around that area are planting beans. You know what? You plant maize. After you plant maize, there are different. There is always a reason behind the scene. There is always a reason why others are planting beans and not maize. So if you try to plant maize, all the birds around that area will come and eat your maize because there are no other gardens around which can eat beans.
That is why there is lesser scarecrow.
Yeah, you can put lesser scarecrow, but if you can find a lot of birds, all of the birds are focusing there.
That's why
all the pests are coming to that garden. Of course, the scarecrow can't scare away the pests. The pests will invade there. All the pests from every farm that has ever grown the
That
maize
is
will
why
come
we're
to your farm.
encouraging crop rotation so that there are
Yes.
no pests in your farm. Let me differ with you at that point. Actually, when people are planting maize and you decide to plant beans, it only depends with the type of soil that you're going to plant your beans on. If we are encouraging crop rotation. So when you focus on crop rotation and people are planting maize and your soil is good enough for the beans, that is after you test the soil, definitely your beans will just do well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm differing with you.
Okay, disease and pest control. Disease and pest control. How can you control these? One of them is through crop rotation to maintain your soil health. So different crops attract different types of pests and diseases. There are different maize. There are certain types of pests that are being attracted by maize. There are certain pests that are being attracted by beans.
Yeah.
So different crops attract different pests. Now, let's dive into the benefits of crop rotation. Of course, if you see us talking about crop rotation, encouraging you to practice crop rotation, of course, we are going to tell you about the benefits. We have mentioned several of the benefits.
Yeah, and also the results. We're going to talk about the results.
Yeah. So benefits. One of them is increased yield. Of course, after you practice such thing as crop rotation, your soil health is improved. It's healthy. It is full of nutrients. It has a good amount of nitrogen. Your plants will be able to grow healthy and even produce more and more bountiful harvest. So when it comes to time of harvesting, you'll be able to harvest heavily. You'll harvest a lot of crops. Heavily. It comes with that. You see?
Yeah.
So, increased yield are less likely to be depleted to be depleted of nutrients. So
Kizungu inakataa.
imekataa jamani, imekataa, but we will try. Anyway, so when you practice crop rotation and you will get a lot of yields and your soil will get a lot of nutrients also through crop rotation. So every time you rotate your crops are gaining nutrients from that soil. Yes.
And also ensure you don't abandon your soil after you've planted maize and then you harvest and then you just abandon the soil. I see some farmers after harvesting maize, they just leave cows to eat the remains in the shamba. It really affects the soil. It really affects the soil kwa sababu you can imagine 100 cows in your farm, they are stepping on the soil. You've just harvested, the maize stock are still in the farm. Now you take cows there in the name of eating the stock. In one way or the other, you are not helping that soil, and maybe the next time you plant another type of crop, it won't do well.
Yeah, and another benefit is reduced need for chemical inputs. So when crop rotation, we said that it breaks the insect cycle, the pest cycle. So when it breaks it, it reduces the need for chemical inputs. When you see that your crops are not affected by insects or pesticides anymore, you won't be able to bother yourself buying chemicals because you already know that your crops are healthy. So even if you buy chemicals, you'll be able to buy a limited amount of chemicals, thus reducing the amount of money you're going to use on this pest control system.
And on that point, as much as these chemicals or even these fertilizers have advantages, they also have disadvantages. But I think that is a story for another day. So it's better if you use crop rotation instead of spending money or even leave alone money. Having so much chemicals, you have to spray them on your farm in order for the pests and diseases to disappear. So it's better you practice crop rotation because those chemicals have advantages and disadvantages. And disadvantages, I want to believe that disadvantages overpower the advantages. We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, and there is also preservation of natural resources. In many areas where the floods are happening, you find that the floods are carrying away the trees, everything that is there, the soil, creating gullies. So you see, when you practice crop rotation, your area will not be able to be depleted of natural resources. Your soil won't be carried away. You will have a good environment where your trees are growing nicely because there is that the soil is firm due to crop rotation. You see?
I don't know
So
if
you
that
won't be
applies.
deplete the natural resources.
I don't know if that applies to areas where, to the floody areas, zile areas, each and every time when you hear about floods, you just know, this place, this is now
It's
the
because
place.
they have a weak, their soil is weak.
Mm.
It won't, like, it's not firm. It is not supporting the trees. It's not like when the floods come, they carry away that soil. So the soil is not fertile. It's not weak. It is muddy.
Oh,
Yes.
actually, in those areas, you realize that most of them grow rice
Mm-hmm.
because rice is grown in water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in such areas that type kuna floods, you just know, this area, people are affected. If you have relatives there, you are just 100% sure. You have to call your relatives and ensure they are fine. Such areas, I see rice is grown in those areas.
Yeah. Okay. And another benefit is carbon sequestration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, carbon sequestration, this is whereby soil rich in organic matter can help capture and store carbon dioxide. I was talking about the plants such as legumes, which are capturing the nitrogen from the air and then putting it into the soil. So you know, they also, that way the organic matter capture also carbon dioxide, which helps in mitigating the climate action, the climate change. You see, many people have been fighting about this climate change and what. Yeah, there have been discussion going on around online about climate change. So through this carbon sequestration, they'll be able to provide, the organic matter will be able, can help capture and store carbon dioxide. Yes. So and there is also sustainable agriculture. That's another benefit. This agriculture, through crop rotation, you will be able to produce plenty of harvest. You'll be able to harvest a lot of food, which will be able to sustain us for generations to come, and also improve the agricultural system, so that the other generation that is coming before us will be able to find these resources. So there will be sustainable agriculture.
Do you think in future we'll have this the agriculture that we are practicing right now?
I don't think so. Yeah, we can have.
With the
Yeah.
help of technology. I just feel that in the coming generations they'll be doing everything with the technology.
Okay, you know, every generation changes. We can't just live in this generation for like forever practicing the same things over and over again. Of course, there's technology, so things are changing. So we may be able to practice farming using our jembes, which our ancestors used to use sticks digging. You see, they used to like dig with hands, with
Yeah,
sticks.
with
But right
sticks.
now, in our generation, in another generation they use only pangas to dig, and they use jembes. But in this generation, we use jembe. We use technology like tractors.
Yeah.
You see, so every generation changes, and every the generation has its inventions and innovations.
If you compare how our ancestors used to farm and us right now, between the two, which generation do you think were helping soil, like due to prevent that soil erosion and all that?
I think it was the ancestors, because nowadays, you know, people are really abusing soil. Like, they are using a lot of activities. You can see tractors digging everywhere, looking for soils for the buildings. And you know, our ancestors used to live in houses made of sticks. They didn't disturb soil that much. And also, while they practiced farming, they were using traditional tools, tools that are not disturbing soil that much. You see, you can have tractors polluting the environment while
us, we are
digging the
disturbing
soil.
soil.
Yeah, but for them, for me, I feel they are disturbing the soil. So our ancestors used to use these sticks to dig, or the pangas. You see, theirs was calm. They didn't use chemicals. They didn't know of these chemicals that have been invented recently. So I'll prefer the ancestral practice than today's practice.
But
because,
anyway, that time we didn't need money.
yeah, they were like, nowadays people are polluting environment a lot by use of excessive fertilizers, excessive medicine. Yeah, I don't know, it's medicine or what. The one they are fertilizers, chemicals. Yeah, excessive chemicals. These chemicals are able to pollute the environment. So I'll prefer ancestral practices.
If you are given a chance, would you go back in
No.
time?
I won't go back there. Where people used to eat dogs. I won't go back in time.
But even nowadays, some people still eat dogs. You've not
Yeah,
heard?
I've heard about that. That's why my sister usually tells me, don't go on the street eating everything. Not everybody. Okay. Did I become a cannibal just now? Anyway. Anyway, my sister told me not to go on the street eating
Everything.
What the hell is happening
You're
now?
obsessed with everybody.
Yeah, don't go around eating everything you find in the streets, like motura. You know, I love motura.
Smokies.
Yeah, first of all, I love moturas a lot. So when I eat motura, I don't know what is made of this thing. Maybe they have poured something inside, but I don't know.
Don't discourage people from eating motura.
Yeah, anyway, eat motura. I love motura, and I'm going to eat motura. I don't care what is inside it. Yeah.
You're a bad advisor.
No, I'm just telling people, if you feel like eating something, what stops you from doing it? Just do it. But think of the consequences. Yeah, if you do something, know about the consequences of that thing. So be aware of the consequences before you engage on that particular activity you're about to do.
Maybe next time we'll tell you about consequences of planting your crops without testing the soil.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't test the soil like food. I know some people can assume that they go testing around the soil because other people don't think. They just do something like that. So
next time we'll tell you more about if you don't test the soil, you just see the result. Or if at all you have not tested your soil, you've never tested your soil, and you've planted your crops and you've seen the results, you can tell us in the comment section.
Yeah, and also
the comments will not be good enough if you've never tested your soil.
Yeah. Another benefit is food security and nutrition. We get this through the crops we consume, the food we eat. So through crop rotations, the plants will be able to get enough nutrients, which will be able to provide people with, when you eat that food, you get the body consumes in a way that it is good. Like it is good. It can't affect you in any way because there are no bad chemicals inside that. It is full of nutrition.
And it's natural.
Yeah, that's why you can find people, they are healthy. So healthy foods makes healthy people.
And also crops that are planted and there are no chemicals sprayed on them, they have a different taste. Yeah, they have a sweet taste. You can't compare the crops that are so full of chemicals and the ones that are naturally planted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I love eating hiyo mahindi ya kuchemsha.
You love eating?
Yes, of course.
Have you realized that today we talked about eating so much?
See, we are talking about soil health, soil health and crop rotation. Of course, crops are something we eat. We eat food from the crops. So today we can talk about eating also because I love eating. We were talking about corn, how it is very good for the soil. You see, so no, not good for the soil. Corn is draining a lot of nitrogen from the soil. It's consuming a lot. So corn is rich of nutrients. It's rich of nutrients. So when I eat it early in the morning, even today I ate it. I ate it when I came to. That's why I'm so full of energy right now. I can talk even for hours and hours and not get tired because I ate corn.
Okay.
First of all, I want to ask you: is there a difference between corn and maize?
Between corn and maize?
Yes.
I'm from Kenya.
What is corn and what is maize?
I'm from Kenya. Maybe we'll find out from our audience if there's a difference between corn and maize because as far as I know, those things, they just sound the same. But I don't know why people tend to say that corn is different from maize. Ama maize ni yetu ya kawaida. The village
Kenya. Ama maize ni ya kienyeji ya Kenya. Let me see if there is a difference between corn and maize.
So far, I've not heard anyone talking about maize. They just say corn. I'm not sure if there's a difference. You can tell us in the comment section if there's a difference between maize and corn, or have you gotten the difference?
I don't know even. It is saying, it's saying maize is typically used when referring to the crop in its agricultural environment. And then farmers grow maize. However, they sell it to various other places as corn.
You
Okay.
you can
Especially
repeat
when
for the
it's
viewers.
Okay, maize is typically used when referring to the crop in its agricultural environment. Farmers grow maize. However, they sell it to various other places as corn, especially when it will be used as food. Just remember that while not all corn is maize, all maize is technically corn. Wow! While not all corn is maize, corn
All
is technically maize.
All maize is technically corn.
Oh yeah, all maize is technically. That is how I used to understand physics upside down. I understand the opposite of what the teacher said. Anyway, now you have gotten the difference between corn and maize. There is no difference actually. Maize is just a plant.
Yeah.
Corn is the seed of that maize. The thing that we eat, the maize now we buy from the banders. That is the corn. Yeah. We call it maize, but actually it is corn. They say that not all corn are maize, but all maize are corn. Yeah.
That's a tongue twister.
Yes. I don't know if is it a tongue twister or what.
Not all maize are corn.
Okay, let me see it again because
Not all maize are corn, but
not all corn is maize.
but
All maize is
corn.
technically corn. Well,
Wow.
it is hard. It is like a tongue twister.
Wow.
You know, we used to compete a lot in primary school when doing tongue twisters.
Now you should take that on to your primary school. I'm sure they will all fail. Before we leave, I wanted to know about the porous soil. Like, can a porous soil be fertile? When I talk about a porous soil, this is what I mean: soil that have spaces, soil that have spaces or holes through which liquid and air pass through. The ones that are cracked, if at all you've seen the soil that is cracked, unatembea tu mahali and then unaona tu shamba yako maybe it's cracked.
I love that kind of soil. You know, it is always in our area, in a river. Then when the river is dried up, there is that mud that is remaining and then it cracks like this.
Actually,
I love walking in that type of a soil because it's crunchy. You just walk and you feel so nice.
Do you think plants can do well in such soil?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Because they have air, they have spaces, holes that liquid or air can pass through.
They can. See, because of what? For the plant to grow, it needs moisture, it needs water. I also read some biology, you know, I did biology back in high school. So for a plant to grow well, it needs moisture, it needs oxygen. So those small pores, they are called pores, those small pores on the soil allow in oxygen and also allow the water to pass through. So that is what is improving the soil retention capacity of water.
I'm interested in knowing what kind of crops can do well in such soil. I'm just interested in knowing. Maybe one day I can try out, or maybe you can tell us on the comment section.
But again, you have to know different types of soil: the clay, sandy, and then loam soil.
I don't really think the sandy soil can have the porous type.
I don't know. I the only thing I know is that loam soil is the best soil for growing crops. That is what I learned. Yeah.
You learned where? In your primary?
Not even primary school. Even in high school, in primary school, loam soil is the best. That is true. Of course, everybody knows that. Loam soil is the best soil for growing crops. Sandy soil is a soil like that of Nini. The one you find in the river. That is a type of sandy soil. That is good in growing some types of fruits, but not maize. You can't grow maize in the sandy soil. Yeah.
Okay, not all rivers have sandy soil. That's a disclaimer. Not all rivers have sandy soil because there are crops that really, really do well next to a river.
In rivers, but not inside the river. I'm saying about the sandy soil I'm talking about is the one that in the river. That soil in the river.
The one that ile yenye maji ikipotea, you have sand inside there.
Yeah, you can actually make a hole and then find water inside.
Oh.
Yeah, we fetch water through that soil. We make some holes in the river, and then you just hit and then make some hole and then you fetch water. those kind of soil. So they are retaining a lot of water. So the plants that are growing there are the plants that their roots are, I don't know, they don't have those deep roots. Their roots are shallow. And then there is clay soil. Clay soil, I only know that is for making pottery, for building things, houses, for making bricks. But I don't know if you can plant any plants in clay soil.
Okay, you can tell us in the comment section if at all you can grow your crops in clay soil. Our main topic of today was crop rotation and soil health. I was almost saying soil rotation.
Yes.
Our main topic of today was crop rotation and soil health. I hope you've really learned a lot from our topic of the day.
Yes.
And you also educate others. A Farmers Media is here to educate you. We are here to connect, learn, and grow. And I hope you've connected with us. Thank you so much for being with us up to this point. You can take home the ones that you've learned from here. And tomorrow is also another day.
Yeah, and like every day, like always, don't forget to follow us on our social media handles at Farmers Media in YouTube, at Farmers Media in Facebook, at www.farmersmedia.com in our website.
Our wise lady, I don't know if you have a proverb of the day.
Okay, a proverb of the day.
Yes. You can inform us about our proverb of the day before we leave. Each and every day we have to have a proverb so that you take home a proverb after you've learned from agriculture. You can also take home a proverb.
So the proverb of the day is, a lazy man's farm is the breeding ground for snakes. I'll repeat. A lazy man's farm is the breeding ground for snakes.
Wow, that's all we had for you, our viewers. Until tomorrow, I've been your host, Mary Oswero. Enjoy the rest of the day.
And enjoy the rest of the day. I've been your co-host, Regina Ayanai. Till next time, have a lovely day. Ciao.
The heart of any shamba lies in its soil. Because soil is so precious, it needs to be managed really carefully. A good place to start is with a soil test. This will tell you how healthy your soil is, its pH levels, what type of soil it is, which crops you can grow in your soil, and advice on which fertilizer is best to use. If you follow the soil test recommendations, it can boost your yields. So, how do you take a soil test sample? Firstly, dig up soil samples. Use a soil auger or panga to take a sample 1 feet deep in a zigzag pattern across your shamba. You will need at least 10 samples. Mix all the different samples together in a bucket. The soil is now ready to be scanned and tested. You can find out about how to get your soil tested by contacting your extension officer. Alternatively, contact a Ministry of Agriculture research station near you. A soil test costs about as much as 1 bag of maize. You should do a soil test at least every 3 to 5 years.